Hi, welcome to our first episode of Digital Domino Marketing by Rudkin Productions. I'm Kathy Rudkin.
And I'm Julianna Henao.
And we are here to guide you through the exciting journey of digital marketing. Now, I know sometimes that doesn't sound fun or exciting, but we are here to ensure you it is going to be a blast and you're going to learn a ton. In this episode, we're going to be introducing you to our diverse range of digital products.
So everything from social media, organic and paid ads, so strategic organic planning and paid ad management. Some of the creepy stuff like geofencing and location listening. So we're basically pulling data out and also feeding data back in. Data mining, where we kind of uncover who's actually on your site, who they are, where they're at, how to get a hold of them. So some of the extra creepy stuff. Google ads, driving traffic to your Google campaigns, generating data when people are actually looking for you. And now podcasting.
We're going to dive deeper, and as this podcasting adventure goes forward, we're also going to have some of our clients on here that we've had some incredible results with. We're going to give you case studies. We're going to take each one of these specific services. We're going to break them down so that you can understand them and so that you can incorporate it into your own marketing strategy. So thanks for joining us. We're super excited that you're here, and let's let the adventure begin. But hey, make sure you subscribe and follow us. And if you have any questions, put them in the comment section and we will be sure and try to answer them. So Julianna, let's get started. I think probably where we need to start is at the very beginning. I was thinking that.
Yeah.
So how Digital Domino became to be is I started a traditional advertising agency 32 years ago now.
Wow.
I know it's been a long time. I'm old and I'm tired. So hence why we're doing Digital Domino, so I'm bringing all these young people. But the traditional side of the marketing agency has been really strong, and we have grown quite a bit over the years. And obviously, we've been able to stay with business 32 years, which is something in an ad agency.
Right.
And we have our own facility, and we offer products like logo design and branding and specialty items and billboards and press. We have a press. We actually have a press. And we also do a lot of books and magazines, anything that's traditional we do. And over the years, probably 15 years ago, when the websites became more popular, we really got into websites and some SEO with that. I mean, the websites have so drastically changed. They change every year of what you can do with websites and e-commerce. But we started with that. And then about probably, I would say 2017, 2018, we realized the social media was becoming more of a factor within marketing. And so we started dabbling a little bit into the social media realm and with paid social media. However, where it really took a turn was when COVID happened. Of course, COVID changed everything for so many people. And we were one of the industries that actually was able to stay open because we were doing so much to support what was happening through COVID. So some of the things that we did through COVID is we own an envelope press, and we were doing a lot of printing to tell people what was happening. Mm-hmm. The first few months, we literally spent just canceling. We do a lot of big events, and so we were canceling media or TV and radio and all of these things that had been purchased. We were canceling.
So scary.
So scary. And then the other thing that was happening is we were one of the people that was printing everything. So we were putting stuff on websites like, the new hours and how they were operating remotely, and we were printing, like the separation stuff. And so a lot of that was happening. So we had to really be inventive to stay in business. And I'm really proud to say that we didn't let one employee go during that time. We were able to stay in business, and we stayed working, which was great. But when that happened, it really opened my eyes to the fact that really social media, I think during COVID, social media was such a vast way to get information out, sometimes good, sometimes bad, but we were able to get information out. And I knew that we had to change the way that we've been doing business.
Right.
And so I've really spent probably since 2020, the last 4 years, really building the team and building all of the products and bringing in specialists like you who know what you're doing and realizing I don't know this, this industry because this is not my generation. What am I? I'm a Gen Z. No, Gen X. I'm a Gen X. I'm a Gen X. I'm right at the baby.
You hired Gen Z.
I hired lots of Gen Zs and millennials, but I'm a Gen X, which I do think was probably a cool era first. I think without the social media, it was probably life was pretty easy. But anyway, that's where we started operating from. And I think one of the things that was super important to me is that a traditional advertising agency is typically expensive. I mean, It's a lot of overhead. You have your people are your most expensive asset and your most important
Everything's
asset.
by the hour.
Yeah, everything is by the hour. And so your mom and pops really can't afford traditional agencies.
Yeah, it's never really been accessible.
It's never been accessible. And the thing with digital marketing is it's so accessible and it's so affordable, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I wanted to create a product that was accessible to just the small business because I saw how badly COVID took the small businessman and woman down. And so this is where it was born. And we've been spending the last 4 years fleshing it out and really fine tuning it and finding the right products. And I feel like we've gotten there.
I think we've gotten there.
And then we hired you, which you were a great asset. So you tell a little bit about your background and how you got started in the industry and what your specialty is. And then let's dive into what we're doing.
Yeah. So I started basically dabbling in ads when I first got my real estate license. I was a new mom trying to figure out, how to make money. I was a college dropout at the time. And I started doing a lot of property management and running real estate ads. And if anybody's ever ran real estate ads on Meta, they know how difficult it can be and how restricting it can be. And I kind of got really good at it. And then I actually started working for Meta through a company that they were outsourcing with. So I was there for 5 years, and the department that I worked in was the SMB department, which is small to medium businesses. So I actually serviced the type of businesses that you were trying to help that were struggling the most. And Meta's whole goal was to try to get these businesses to continue running ads and their ads to optimize so that they can have the longevity of that business, right? Because there's a lot more small to medium businesses than there are big, huge corporations. And that's where the money is at. But it's a lot harder. Those businesses fail and go out of business all the time. And Meta was and it still is, right? But at the time, it was the king of all social media companies. And during COVID, they didn't hit for the first time, I think they didn't hit their projected revenue target. And so the layoffs happened. And I was part of that second layoff, 14,000 people. And I said to myself, I don't want to go to an agency. I want to continue helping these small businesses, or I want to help a nonprofit. I know all of the back end of Meta. I want to help people. And so I think I may have interviewed with like 50 different nonprofits, and I didn't want to do an agency, but this agency has been around, like Kathy said, for over 30 years. And we've worked with a lot of nonprofits.
Yes,
and
nonprofits are dear to my heart.
Right. And so that was the key for me to be like, okay, let me give this one a chance. And it's just a very small agency. Small family feel, even though we have some really big clients, and I love that. And it was a difficult transition coming from Meta, but I felt like this was the perfect place to use all of my tools and tips and tricks that I learned along the way, and I couldn't be happier.
And you were with Meta 5 years?
5 years. It would have been 6 years, a few months before they let us go. So, yeah, it was a long time, and I probably wouldn't have left. And there's so many things I'm grateful for learning, especially having that experience on the back end of Meta. But now I'm actually, everything that I was doing was theoretical, right? How the platform should work, how it's designed to work, what's it supposed to do. And now I'm actually doing it. So that's super fun because I feel like I can kind of scale up ad campaigns a lot easier because I know exactly what it's supposed to do. But now I have the experience of seeing it actually done. So I feel like that's an advantage.
I do too. I also feel like it's an advantage too, is now you get to see how the average business person has to work with Meta.
Right. That business
Which is
person
a
has to-
totally different gift.
Yes,
Inside the machine.
Yeah, I always heard the complaints and I always saw both sides, but now I'm dealing with it. We've been really lucky with our Meta interactions. I get the calls from the people that I used to manage, asking if we want a consultation, and that's always a kicker for me. But it's definitely Meta's not an easy
platform to
navigate. It's meant for the professionals, but it's definitely accessible to everybody. It can be difficult, but I tell clients all the time, hey, you could have people get degrees in this stuff. It's not meant to be easy.
Exactly. And one of the things too, I think for a later episode that might be really cool is to dive into like the boosting versus the back end, the business manager, the ad manager Meta, because I think that's probably
90% of what I'm explaining all day.
Yeah, exactly. And I think people think they can do it.
Yeah.
Well, let's kind of talk about our services. One of the things that we have put together with our services that is affordable is we have created a subscription,
right?
Which has been, I think most people are just amazed at our prices.
The amazement never stops with me because like I did work with Meta and I worked with so many big time agencies that their number one priority was these big time companies. And so marketing agencies weren't necessarily accessible. And the whole department that I worked in was designed to help these small to medium businesses learn this.
Yes.
Because an agency wasn't available. So our prices are so comparable. We start as low as $20 a day for some of this stuff. And it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. We're a local American company, which I think is also it
is. I think that's a huge factor is that you actually are able to talk to somebody here and that we are very familiar with the culture.
Well, some of our clients are international, but a lot of our clients are right down the road. So I think I think that's super cool to say like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna go film this reel for you myself.
Right.
Or let me just go pick up your flash drive and I'll just take the content that you already have and we'll spruce it up for you. Like we can do that because we're local. We're not on the other side of the world.
And we also have clients that are international and they're also not down the street from us. So that part we are able to, we work through Dropboxes with our content creators. And the cool thing about our content creators is one of the things that I think is setting us apart from really an advertising, other traditional advertising, like people our competition or even digital marketing companies. I feel like we have combined the two, which has kind of been an unusual model.
Definitely unusual.
It really is. I've looked around and I have not been able to find the combination of these two. And the one thing too, I think that we bring the traditional side seeps over into the digital side. So there is just an element of really good quality content.
The quality is definitely high up there. I definitely come from the mindset of it's a post, it's got a short shelf life,
right.
Trajectory, how fast can we get this out? How many more posts can we make? How can we streamline this? And the traditional part of marketing, which is what I didn't have experience with, print and graphic design, there's so many edits and so many revisions and the level of expertise is so high. So to apply that to something that I was like, this is going to have a shelf life of 90 minutes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And now to see how far I've come to be like, we can fix this. We can edit that. We can make this better. That's been a huge growth on my part just from working here with the traditional aspect in the same building. It wasn't easy at first. But I'm definitely grateful to it because I think like my skill set has gotten better because the quality of our content isn't just something that we're like slapping on that we made really quick in Canva. It's from a real design element perspective.
Sure.
I love that.
If you set the bar here, you're going to rise to this bar. If you set it here, you're going to rise to this bar. And that's what we do. We want to have, even our digital department, we want it to be excellent and we want it to look like we are big time, even if it's a small business.
Even if it's a small business. And growth shouldn't be comfortable, right?
Absolutely
if it's comfortable, then are you really challenging yourself? And so that challenge doesn't just apply to ourselves, but also to our clients. So
exactly. So earlier, we were talking about that I'm a Gen Xer. And one of the things that I think I think my generation, even baby boomers, my husband on there, and even my parents, my mom who's in her 80s is on social media. But truly, I think this next generation with the Gen Zs and the millennials, that's pretty much where they're getting all their information. I mean, I have 2 adult children and neither one of them pick up a mail. Drives me insane, but they don't pick up their mail. And the Gen Zs do not check their emails. It's amazing to me. And they don't watch news programs. They don't. Both my kids think it's ridiculous. I still have traditional cable, and I watch it. Everything is streamed, and they get their news in little bits, which sometimes is unfortunate because it's being fed to them. But they get their news off digital media.
Easy to digest.
So it's a totally different arena of advertising marketing than I grew up in. And so that's one of the things that I think we bring a team. I realize that I can't have people that just are my age, and I needed to bring in this younger generation to be able to reach it. And it's been so fun because each person brings such a different perspective and different set of skill sets that are just needed to make this new digital world work. And so what do you feel about this?
I mean, I think it's so commendable that you, instead of just pushing away that younger generation, you found value in their change and found it almost like a necessary to bring them on.
Yes.
And I feel like you're right. It's 100% necessary. The trajectory of your customer, the longevity, the younger they are, you don't reach them the same way, right? No. The same way I market towards somebody who's 65 and older is not the same way I market to somebody who's maybe 21 and younger. The email thing is right on. I'm a millennial, so channel marketing works for me a lot, but it doesn't necessarily work for my team. And I've always been the one who worked for a boomer. And so I've always been the youngest one in the workplace. And now that I run the digital department and my team is all the Gen Zers, I realize I'm the old one.
Yeah, you're the old person in the room.
I'm constantly on Urban Dictionary trying to figure out what that means. And so there's challenges within that, right? I think I read on LinkedIn that we were in the era of the Great Resignation after COVID.
Yes.
Right? Everybody was giving up their corporate job or getting let go of their corporate job and wanting to start their own food truck or wanting to sell their art on Etsy. And even though that's so amazing, it's also super scary. A lot of those people are coming back to the workforce and they don't have work etiquette or work ethic, or they don't know what it's like to not turn in a deliverable or not meet that expectation. But with that comes this level of creativity that I feel like is unmatched.
It's next level.
It is. The being able to think on the spot, and it could just be the way they digest their information, right? In small tidbits. It is fed to them, so I feel like they can be very opinionated. But that can easily be manipulated, so it's a little scary. But they're very, very creative, very, very artistic, and super resourceful.
Super resourceful. Sponges.
Yeah.
And I love that this particular agency, the diversity, I think we're close to half Spanish speaking.
We're half Spanish speaking. Yeah. And to add clarity on it, we're in Bernie, Texas.
So which is right out of San Antonio.
Yeah, it's right out of San Antonio.
It's pretty heavy Spanish speaking.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. A small town area, but we're super close to this big city. And then not only that, we have a lot of women in this office, which is just
sometimes maybe a little too many.
Maybe too many women. Maybe too many women.
We do have lots of women.
I love it though. I love the creativity. I love the leadership that I get to see across all the different departments. The diversity is also it's been beneficial not only to us but to our clients too. We took on our first Spanish clients and we learned along the way, like, oh yeah, we could caption it. Oh yeah, I speak Spanish. And then how many times did I call my mom and say, how do you say this in regular Spanish? So I think that worked well. It was challenging and now we know how equipped we are for it.
Absolutely. And we have people in our office. In fact, the person running this podcast right now is from Peru.
Yeah.
Our web developers from Mexico City. So we have people all over the world that are actually
here,
right
working
here,
with us,
working with us. So let's talk about some of our products. I mean, I don't think we want to just go deep, but I think that we want to at least give you a taste of what we do.
Yeah, a little tidbit.
I'm gonna be peeking over here because one of the things that's cool is we offer an a la carte menu. So you can pick and choose what you want to do. A lot of this is stuff that you can do internally, but as most of you have found out, doing social media is like a beast. It's you have to feed it constantly, and it's ever changing. Even with Meta, I mean they are changing constantly
changing,
and Meta's still king. I mean, I know we have TikTok, and I know we have all of these other, and we do TikTok, and we do LinkedIn, and we can do Pinterest. We can do all of the different mediums, but Meta still is the king.
Meta's still close to my heart,
which is good. But it's still the king of social media. But so one of the things that we can do, we do have clients that come to us and they literally have nothing set up, or it's a brand new startup.
Right.
And so we can help them create their accounts. Highly recommend, do not let somebody that is an employee create your accounts. That's probably one of our biggest thing that we have to deal with is trying to a past employee try to get your own accounts back.
So many times where it's like the horror story of, I had an intern and they just created it and gave me the password and now it's not working. And I'm like, well, there's so much that goes into that. So
that to create it correctly and make you the
owner.
The owner, that's key. So we can create those accounts for you. Even if you don't have a TikTok yet, we can create that. One of the things I just recently read about TikTok that I thought was super interesting is I always look at TikTok as a competitor to like Instagram. But I read that it was recently, it's not. It's a competitor to Amazon.
It is. And actually, I just read this morning that Amazon and TikTok are partnering up.
Really?
They've been so competitive with each other for the past 24 months. And now they are. So for all those creators that have a TikTok shop and that are doing Amazon affiliate links, if you don't have a game plan right now, call us because this Q4 has all the potential to be one of the most profitable points of the year, I feel, especially if you're in that influencer realm.
That social influencer.
Right.
And we do influencers. So that's something that we can also help you with. So we do, obviously, we've been talking a lot about Meta, and we do paid social media, not just Facebook and Instagram, but we do it in all mediums. We do the organic. We've been talking about that as well. We have a actual choose a package on this. Mm-hmm. So you can choose 1 posting a week, 3 posting a week, 5 posting a week. We have boosting on there, and we're really, really good at creating reels.
Right.
Yeah. That's one of the things.
Our content creators are here. And one aspect that I think is just amazing is that we are on a subscription service, but when we are handling your social media, organic and paid or just organic, the content that we create for you is within that subscription price. It's not like, hey, you're paying us to run your ads and every reel that we make is going to be X amount of dollars. No, if we're posting 3 times a week for you, we're posting 3 times a week, and every single reel that we create is yours, and it's within that price. It's a set price.
Exactly.
I think that's just amazing.
Now we do offer a service, and a lot of our clients take this, especially if they're new to the platforms. But we do a creative branding package where we will create the look and feel of your page. And we do have clients that sometimes do it every month. We have several that do it that way. We also have clients that do it quarterly, and we have clients that just do it once
a year.
At the very beginning. And it kind of freshens up your page. It gives it a new look. It has, fonts and colors and, just a different feel to what your page looks like. So that's something we can do. And that's kind of cool because that kind of leans a little bit over to the traditional side. So you get the traditional side of the ad agency, but you get it more at a digital price.
Yeah, think of it of like a branding guide if you've ever had one or always wanted one. It's something that we can give and design for you. So,
which is really, really awesome. One of the things too that we do is Google My Business. So a lot of people, this is a free service to you. And if you're not using Google My Business for your business, you really need to be using it because these are our yellow pages. I mean, no one has yellow pages anymore. And if you look at something that you're going to go to, you're going to look at Google My Business. I think what people don't realize, and I always like to say this, it's people use Google My Business like a bicycle when it really could be like a Mercedes.
Right.
And they're just, you can use it as a social media posting. And the other thing that needs to happen, and it is a little fickle and you got to work with it. We can help you clean it up. We can help you set it up, and we also can help you manage it. So I think that we really need to segue into the creepier stuff, because without the creepy stuff, the stuff that we can do with the paid and the Google is
The normal stuff.
The normal stuff, because that's where we really that's where we shine.
Yeah.
We really shine. So my favorite part of the creepy stuff, well, there's so many that I really like.
Do you have a favorite?
I do. I really feel like you get the most bang for your buck for location listening.
Yeah.
That's really, and there's two aspects of location listening that we can do. One that's really inexpensive is a historical pull. So within a 12-month period, we can go back and we can pull an event, we can pull a location,
concert,
we can pull competitors, we can pull every IP in a certain area that we are geofencing, and we can pull those IPs out.
Right.
So then what do you do with an IP? Because it's basically, an IP is an address of somebody's mobile phone.
Yeah, it's basically like a digital footprint, right? So when we run our social media campaigns or Google campaigns, sometimes we're putting in interests, or sometimes we're putting in locations, hoping that that's where our people are at. But when we have location listening lists, I'm actually feeding that list to my audience. So I know who's going to see my ad because I've picked where they're at and I've pulled their address. So it's basically having like a digital mailer for my ad. But with other tools and other platforms, especially like Meta, I can take that list, I can create a lookalike audience. So now I can find people that are exactly like the IP addresses that we just pulled from the location listening list. So it's pretty amazing. It's like a little satellite, and I just picture a satellite just like sucking these IP addresses out of wherever we're at. Like you said, it can be a historical pull or it can be an upcoming event. So like, let's say you're in the travel industry and there's going to be a big travel expo, and all of your competitors are going to be there, or all of your customers are going to be there, and you want to pull those addresses out. That's what we'll do. Or you wanted to do the one last year. Yeah. That's
as long as it's within 12 months, we can still pull. Mm-hmm. We can also do with the location listening, and I'm going to use an example that I did for my own self. We live in Boerne, Texas, which is a small town, and it's very Norman Rockwell, and we have our December is just huge. Yeah. We have this incredible Dickens on Main.
It's like a Hallmark movie, Main Street.
Literally like a Hallmark movie. And we have parades, and we have really high-end, gorgeous shops. I mean, it's a very vibrant downtown. It reminds me a lot of Berkeley. It's just a very vibrant community. And so I wanted to be able to pull all of the IPs during that time frame. So what I did is I didn't do a historical pull. I actually did an as it was happening pull. So everyone who was going to Boerne during the month of December, we were able to pull out their IPs. Mm-hmm. And then the cool part is we can use those IPs for
future ads.
Future ads and clients that, are trying to reach this market as well. So that's how the IP works with it. Now, there's some other areas. I'm going to skip to data mining, which we call Data Vault here. Mm-hmm. And this is a service that is probably one of my favorites as well, is where we are able to unscramble about 20 to 30% of website visitors. Right. And when I say unscramble, I mean unscramble. Right. So we can get pretty much of the 20 to 30% of the people that visit, we can pull their name, their name, email, IP, first and last name, IP. Those right there are pretty standard that we can get with every single person. We can get income. Some of them, we can get their income, which is job title, LinkedIn profile, their company's revenue. Yes. And so we can also, so this list can be used for so much. It can be incorporated into your own data. Yeah, it can be incorporated into like another custom audience for social media campaign or Google. We can also lean into channel marketing and do text campaigns or do email campaigns. Correct. So that's pretty awesome. And then, and we have many clients where we immediately turn around and do an email marketing campaign, and we've had great success. Another really cool thing about the Data Vault that I love is that it'll also tell us the frequency of that traffic. Yes. So I've been able to tell clients like, hey, these people have visited your site 20 times in the last
month.
Right.
And if they're not an employer, that's definitely somebody we want to reach out to.
For sure. So. And the other thing is, once we take over and are helping with the digital marketing, we've also make sure that we install a social pixel onto your site. So what happens is when people go into your site and then they jump back in social media, we can retarget them because we already know they've been to your site. Social media already knows that, and they can retarget that person.
And now we know what they're doing, right? Where we're losing them. If they're, adding stuff to cart, not finishing the purchase, if they're getting up to the payment part, or what they're searching for, what items they're looking at the most. So
absolutely. So another thing that we can do is we can take your own data that you've collected over the years, and we can also put that into your Google Ads and in your social media.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of just ways that we can really, really drill down to your target market. So I wanted to point that out because Google is the same. You can actually do all of what we just said with the custom audiences and the IPs and the emails and such, and we can really drill down in Google as well. So those are some things. One of the things that we also do is we have a full SEO package for existing websites. We build websites. A lot of people come in here and they actually have a decent website. So we don't need to rebuild it.
Yeah, they need a little update.
They need an update. The problem is, one of the biggest problems I see, especially when people have e-commerce, they think if they build these gorgeous websites that people are going to come. If you build it, they will come. However, if they cannot find you, they're not going to come. And that's one of the biggest problems. In the traditional side, I have the same exact problem with people who do self-publishing books, and they have a garage full of their self-publishing books. And it's like, okay, now you've done that, but now what? So it's the same thing with a website. You can have a gorgeous website, but if it is not properly meta tagged, if you don't have alt tags, if you haven't run your competitors list and you have inserted the words laced into your copies and laced into your meta tags.
Photo descriptions, so many different things.
Yes, when the fingers go out, they can't find you. Mm-hmm. Some of the things that we do, you want to make sure you have a sitemap. You want to make sure you have a sitemap behind, sitemap up front, because that's going to help. Something that a lot of people don't realize is that Google and YouTube are owned by the same people, and they are very much in love. They love each other so much.
People are like, I don't want to be a YouTuber. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Put your reel on YouTube.
Put your reel on YouTube, and then make sure you embed your videos within your site. It's it's going to, not only is social media going to help you in your search, YouTube's going to help you, but
it makes it easier for you to be found.
Yes.
When people they go to Google when they're searching for you. So that is like the shortest time frame of customer to purchase. So if you're at the bottom of that Google search, you're just, you're already at a huge
disadvantage. So obviously put in the social media pixel or the SDX if you have an app. Mm-hmm. That's another one. You want to make sure if people are going into your app that you're also tracking it. I have a deaf daughter, so accessibility to me is huge.
Right.
We make sure that make sure that you have an accessibility plug on your site. That's something that is, really easy to do. And then also
you're missing a huge market potentially.
Oh, for sure. And then the other thing is a lot of times people build their own site in Wix and then they don't even claim it. They don't claim their own site like on Bing or Google. So you want to make sure and once you've done all of these changes with SEO, you want to make sure you resubmit it to Google and to Bing so that it's actually crawling again.
Right.
So a lot of times people will make edits, but then they never resubmit. Yeah. So they're kind of screwed. So those are some of the things that we do. We offer social influence packages. So meaning we find the social influencers for you. And we do this. We take
out all of the hard part of working with social media influencers, the negotiating, the contracts, the content collecting. We really highlight what we need and what they're going to get out of it so that you don't ever have to deal with them.
No.
And you get all the benefit of it. So we've had really, really big successful campaigns with our influencers.
Yes.
A lot of the times, even the way the influencer themselves will market themselves is, oh, this is my reach. But that only goes so far, right? My biggest thing is I don't care how many people you reach. I care about how many people of your reach is actually engaging with your content. So I've found a huge benefit in working with micro influencers for some of our clients. And it's been way, way more beneficial for us, for everybody.
Right. I agree. So another thing that we do offer is a lead generating software that we actually use ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fantastic. It's basically a CRM that works within the social media realm, website realm. You can do two-way texting, you can do two-way emails. It assigns phone numbers. And so you're able to really track. And I love it because it's so user-friendly. You can physically drag
it.
The lead has come in. I've contacted the lead. Or you can assign it to different people. You can assign hot leads. This is a warm lead. This is a lead that,
this is
sucks.
Yeah,
this
what
lead
happens
is not going to happen.
Right.
So it's really a great service.
I love it for our clients that maybe aren't as tech savvy, because instead of them having to go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go on Twitter, go on or go on X.
Yes, I've been on X.
Or trying to remember all these passwords. Everything is linked into one app. They can do it from their phone. They can see the leads as they come in. All of the messages are automatically replied to. So they're not losing leads in that wait period. So it makes it super user friendly for them.
Yeah, because one of the things I don't think people realize is once you start these programs and you're actually driving people, you've got to deal with the leads.
The leads will come in. That has been so crazy to me, is to see, these clients that come in and say, I have one more sales, I need more leads. And then as soon as we start doing what we said and it starts working, they're like, this is too much. There's too many sales. I don't have enough time. I don't have the manpower. And I'm like, okay, we got to scale back.
Right.
But that has happened so many times.
Many times. So the key is, being able to have the structure set up in your own company to be able to
can you handle the leads, right?
And you're going to have good leads, you're going to have bad leads, you're going to have fantastic leads. I mean, you're going to be able to decipher the leads and work through them, and that's part of it. So the CRM, the lead generating software, really is helpful with that. We talked about the location listening. So geofencing, if you think about location listening as you're sucking out the IPs, geofencing is you're feeding them data.
Yeah, you're putting them back in. It's really cool because we can use the same thing, same scenario. So like an event or concert where we're pulling, we know that that your demographic is there and we want to know who they are. So we pull their IP addresses. Geofencing, basically what we're going to do is we're going to show the people that are there your ad within
an app.
Within
something they're opening.
Yeah. Yes. So all of the unused ad space that thousands of apps have, we can basically geofence within a specific demographic where they're at and say, hey, we want to show them this ad, and it'll have a click-through offer, or click here for whatever, for free something. And then every time they open their Uber Eats or their Tinder or Meta or whatever app they're on, they're going to see your ad within that app at that specific time. So that's,
and it's fed just like Meta or any of the social media. It's fed by impressions. Yeah. So you literally can buy impressions. Like, I want to feed 50,000 at this Taylor Swift concert.
Right.
And you can do that. And I'd like to use an example of my own personal thing. There was in Phoenix, there was a really big conference, 10,000 people. Not only did I want those IPs at that conference, I also wanted the whole time they were there to see my ads.
To see your
ads. So, because it was really my demographic. So I was pulling their IPs so I would have it. But at the very same time,
you're feeding them their ads.
I had geofenced not just the convention center, but I had geofenced all the host hotels.
Yeah.
So when they would go back to their room and they were looking at their phones, I was able to feed them ads. But then the cool part is I had their IPs. So when I went back, I was able to then, once they got home, I could continue to have these same people.
I know. We spoke with somebody who they were trying to hire. They knew there was a call center that they knew that was their target demographic for the people that they wanted to hire.
Yes.
And it was like we could feed them our ads and let them know we're hiring, and make a quick click-through campaign about, tired of working here.
Yes.
Click apply now. And I thought that was so funny, but I was like, it's so real. You're literally showing the people that you want at the time that you want the ad, instead of just throwing something, creating a post, throwing it on the internet and hoping that it gets there. Right. Yeah. So I think that, geofencing and location listening are probably some of our coolest things.
It is. It's just so great. The other thing that is new is what we're doing right now is podcasting. So we've seen that this is just where people are going. Even at my age at 56, last night at 3 a.m. in the morning, I was listening to podcasting. So I think it's just another way that we're digesting information and entertainment. And I think a lot of us are in our cars so much, and It's just, and even in the work, we also, there's podcasting going on. Podcasting is a way just to get so much information, whether it's about real estate or digital marketing or just for the sole value of entertainment. It's a great way to get your message out. And then you can also do clickbait reels that are going to be played on your social media that we can use to drive people
Content,
to your
right?
website.
Yeah.
So we offer that. So that's just kind of a short little synopsis of just some of the products that we're doing and some of the cool things and the technology that is out there. And we just want to take this time to thank you for sitting through this and learning more about what we're doing. And do you have anything that you want to finish up with?
Right. I would just say don't wait, right? Don't wait. If with marketing, it's either time or money. Something's going to cost you time or it's going to cost you money. And so I feel like sometimes you can do this yourself, right? But it is a full-time job. This is a full-time thing. This takes time and skill set. And are you capable of learning this and doing this on your own? 100%. But do you want to, right? Do you have the time to do it? Are you not running your own business? Is that not your priority? So sometimes the money I feel is worth it when it saves you time.
Right.
And so just give us a call. One of my favorite things to say to anybody who asks for a consultation is I highly encourage you to shop around. Shop around, ask for prices, because I promise you our prices are a lot more affordable than what people think. And I love to under promise and over deliver than it be vice versa. I will tell somebody, no, this can't be done.
Oh, you will. Much to my demise.
Yeah, I will say no, I will say this can't be done for what you're willing to spend, or this can't be done in the time frame that you want. But I'd rather be honest than not. And I just feel like you should definitely shop around, but give us a call.
Call us at 830-249-1744 or look us up on Digital Domino
Marketing. Slide into our DMs.
Yes, follow us on Facebook, Instagram. You can go to Rudkin Productions or Digital Domino Marketing. And we just can't wait to tell you more about this. And thank you for tuning in, and be sure to subscribe and like. And
see you on the next one.
Hey, we'll see you next time. Thanks.